Hello, friends. Hey there, my name is Svava Brooks, and if you're here watching the replay, thank you so much for stopping by and checking it out. I am a trauma coach. I specialize in helping adult survivors of childhood trauma and abuse to heal and restore. I work with the adult survivors, like I said, one-on-one, and also have online group support. And then I love hang out here on Periscope and YouTube. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have about healing, restoring your heart, body, mind, and spirit. And the tool that we're using here in our community today is my book, Releasing Your Authentic Self, the book that I was searching for all those years ago when I was ready to make the shift to go from just surviving to really thriving. I knew there was another level. I knew there was something else that I could do. I was relentless. I was relentless in taking my life back, empower myself. And if you can't find the resource, we need to just make them. And that's what I did. So daily practice, daily loving kindness, mindfulness, meditation, intention, every single day. That's how we do it. And we're going to talk a little more about that here. But if you're here with us live, please say hello. Please let me know where you're from and that you're here so I can welcome you. Hey, friends, how are you doing today? Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Sue. Hey, Rob. Hey, birthday woman. Yes, I survived a weekend of birthday celebration thanks to Elisa. My daughter, she's here. Hey, Elisa, I haven't seen you today. Hey, Wanda. So how are you guys? Hey, Donna. All right. All right. Thanks for the heads up. She's here until dinner time. Got it. Got it. Excuse me. Yes, exactly. And my sweet, sweet friends, to you guys here in the tribe that sent me the beautiful birthday flowers. Oh, made me so happy. It made my day. I felt the love, my friends. I so felt the love from all of you. And it was funny. My hubby got me flowers that day too. Of course, right? And they coordinated the bouquet my husband chose for me and the bouquet that you guys sent me. It was like they complemented each other. So, hey, Cindy. Hey, friend. How are you doing? Glad to see you're home. I know I still owe you an email reply. It got buried in some of the weekend correspondence. So bear with me. I'm still catching up with myself. So, but the weekend was great. We had lots of fun, lots of fun. So what about you guys? What's new and good? What's new and good? What's new and good? How the devil are you? Says Rob. Now that we've caught up, you caught crabs? Nice. You're still camping, right? Hey, Dan. You're still camping, Rob, aren't you? And just for my Periscope friends, I'm also running the live stream on YouTube where a lot of the members are engaging in the chat. And so thank you, Dan. I will do my best. Keep an eye on both places here. So I was waiting for that, Denise. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. Yes, some got away through Rob. Yes. You had a great weekend. Yes, Denise, we saw. I mean, Donna, you posted some lovely kayaking videos out in nature, working out and feeling good. Elizabeth, yes, that's awesome. Okay, thanks, friend. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Henson. Donna in the house. Yes, exactly. I've been working out too lately, and I'm starting to feel strong. Doing those workout, it helps. Start to show I'm building some muscle. It feels good. Yes, Elizabeth, I'm with you. Pushing through, strengthening our bodies, right? Taking care of our bodies because, right, this is where our heart lives. This is what our soul lives, our spirit and our inner child, all our good parts. Thank you, Cindy. Just didn't want you to think that I'd completely forgotten. So, but it was nice to take a break this weekend. And my family played a role in like, Mom, you're getting away from work this weekend. So, all right, friends, are we ready? Are we buckling up? We're digging deep today. The topic is shame. Yes, Sue, right? Yep, we all need that every now and then. Donna is drinking her super green drink every morning. Awesome. Wanda's not ready. I hear you, friend. I hear you, Wanda. Made me so happy to read that you have been enjoying your time away, that you know, socializing and hanging out with friends and family has brought some joy and peace and some movement into your life. I'm so happy to see that. How did it go? Hey, friend, did you go swimming today, Wanda? Are we ever? Hey, friend, we don't talk politics, so thank you. I lived in shame most of my life without even knowing. Yes, so can we show sign of by raising our hands if we can identify with that? I know I lived in shame and I had no idea that what was running my life, my thoughts, my feelings, my cycle, nope, was that the underlying issue was shame. There you go, Wanda. That's it. That's it. Wanda, we need to find the balance. Find the balance. Hey, friend, here in Periscope, we are talking about healing after trauma. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, feel free to sit back, listen, ask questions about how to heal after trauma. So, like I said earlier, that's a really good question. So why don't you hang in there? Today we're talking about shame and how shame runs our lives after trauma, especially childhood trauma, right? So can I ask you guys, right? This is a little pop quiz, right? So living with childhood trauma, what does that do, you know, to shame? What does shame do for us? You guys, I love seeing it, that you guys are all on the health kick right now. Yes, Elisa, aren't you proud? Aren't you proud? Shame, pain, numb, repeat. Exactly. Hey, Nuff. Hey, friend. I'm sorry, friend, that you felt like you lost your identity after trauma. That's actually one of the things that we often recognize once we start healing, right? That we have built this whole world, this identity, this way of being in the world that isn't necessarily who we are, but we've built it to cover up the truth about how we feel. And when shame is behind the scene, right, then the underlying issue for us isn't that I'm doing something bad or I'm imperfect or not good enough. It's like you feel in deep in your heart, right, that inherently you are bad, right? There's nothing good to build on here. And good, excellent, glad you feel relief. Yes, thank you, Sue. Shame equals needing to hide it. So perfectionism, yes. Rob says shame made me hide and sacrifice my identity. So yes, you can relate. Exactly. And this is again another one of those, shame is not a feeling that we easily turn to, that we easily can identify. So an important part of the healing journey, and I know, so take deep breaths today, my friends. I'm really just drilling down the line here on this topic. So really be gentle with yourself. Self-compassion, right? Self-compassion, self-compassion. I hear you, exactly. Once we realize that shame has been running the show for a long time, that's when we feel shame in our bodies, our nervous system gets activated to the point like there is just toxic hormones being pumped into your bloodstream and into your nervous system. And what do? We are just running. We're trying either, moving, trying to figure things out fast, or we repress or avoid. But basically, it feels like we are under attack. So staying with the cycle of shame for a long time is really harsh on our bodies, on our nervous system. And then between our mind and our bodies, it kind of gets hardwired into this loop. So once we understand what shame is, right, what it does to us, then slowly and surely over time to become aware of how it shows up. What are the thoughts? What's driving the shame? And for me, yes, it is conjoined with guilt, whether real or constructed by your young mind to make sense of the situation. Exactly. But the distinction between guilt, right, and shame, to make it really simple, and Brene Brown, right, the master teacher around shame for so many of us, and before her, John Bradshaw and others, is the difference between guilt and shame is that guilt makes you feel like you did something bad, but shame feels like you are bad. So it's like when you are something, you can't change it. And like you said, Rob, when you as a child feel like you are shameful, there's no hope. You're powerless. You can't change it. And that's what I remember for a long time living with. If I am this bad, right, I'm just a shameful being, then who cares? What's the use? Why bother? So once I understood how shame was driving so much of how I was hiding and how I was trying to be perfect. So I'm being distracted here by our friend on Periscope. So just hang in there, my friend. Hang in there just a second. So, but I wanted just to set up our questions for today. And as I healed myself, right, it's been on 25 years on the healing journey, and I could see, right, that shame had really crippled almost all aspects of my life. Like I shared on the page here, when I started to recognize, as I was trying to have a discussion with my husband, that shame was really driving my need to be right, my need to control, my need to just whatever it was to deflect. And it was crazy making, really kind of crazy making, because we never got anywhere. It was like two kids sitting in a sandbox, just kind of throwing at each other kind of like the jabs. Well, if you're not changing, I'm not changing, or you have to start it, or because I'm not doing it, stuff like that. Yes. So, and it wasn't until I recognized, again, this biological push, right, from the inside, that I had to have the last word. I had to, right? I had to control. I had to resist. I had to fight. That I also just started coming back, okay, this is not going to change anything in my relationship with my husband or with myself. I had to be willing to pull back and to listen, and then start to feel shame. Like, how does shame feel in my body? And what that helped me to do, right? Be very gentle with myself, very gentle. But if I was having a conversation with my husband and I could feel shame come up, I was able to say to him, this is bringing up a lot of shame for me. Like, he was a safe person for me to do that. I would say, David, I'm trying to communicate about something, but what you're asking me to do or to say or comment about is bringing up a lot of shame. And just saying it, yes, Sue, it's a piece of it. It's a piece of it, Sue. Shame about being bad, my friend. So if you're struggling relating to our conversation, I apologize, but this is what we're digging into deep today. Shame about I was abused as a child and I thought it was my fault. So that's how the feeling of shame started in me as a little girl and then grew up with me as I became an adult, because no one corrected. No one helped me correct. So yes, we're dicing some onions for sure. Exactly, Rob. Exactly. But that's also what we know about shame, is that shame is one of those master emotions, like they talk, is that once you talk about it, once you bring it out into the open, like, I'm being really resistant about this. I feel really broken here. I feel really stuck here. Once you just name it, it's like almost, I don't want to say quite like that, but it really, right? Something shifts. Exactly, Rob. It doesn't like the light. Exactly. That's right. That's right. Cindy says, that's why I always question when others see me as powerful and strong. I could only see me as bad, inherently bad. So that can't be true, right, Cindy? So your filter is, right, I'm bad. This is shame. So I'm going to take everything in through that filter. And even other people see good things about me in here. I'm like, no, if you knew the truth about me, you wouldn't think that, right? If you knew the truth, you wouldn't really want to hang out with me. So we reject, we push people away, even though we desperately want that connection. So I'm on YouTube, my friend, and you can find the channel by looking up the name of the book. And then you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. But right now I'm also live on YouTube. So thank you for asking. So let's see here. A little more setup. Basically, the questions today: how has shame crippled your personal life? And how has shame crippled your professional life and career? But a little more setup right here. Shame is powerful. It's toxic, terrifying, crippling, and it seeps into every aspect of our lives: relationships, career, family, food, exercise, self-care. The list goes on. But we were not born with shame. It was instilled in you, right? What you saw growing up, how your caregivers treated you, how they took care of you, and then some of the assumptions, right, that we make about ourselves because we weren't getting our needs met. We weren't being seen or heard or validated or delighted in, right? Shame exists out of, right? I am not, right? False beliefs that we were taught, so we have to take the negative, right? Taking those beliefs, write out all those beliefs. Because of shame, I thought I was bad. Because of shame, I thought I was broken. Because of shame, I thought I was not worthy of any whatever blank, right? Certainly not worthy of love. Because of shame, I was never good enough. Because of shame, I was not capable. Because of shame, I could never heal. Whew. I'm not being loved becomes I am not lovable. Exactly. Exactly. And as we talk a lot about here, is to write out those negative beliefs and then understand, yes, exactly. Thank you, friends. Shame is a lie someone told you. And if you didn't have the support system to change it, to shift it, to understand the lie, right? When we don't get our needs met, when our parents don't see us, right? We're not seen or heard. We feel like there's something wrong with us. Exactly, we are lovable. But unfortunately, this is not about blame, but most of our parents and caregivers, right? This is multi-generational issue. They can't give what they didn't get. So Cindy says, I couldn't believe that others would say because of my inherent belief of myself. Exactly, exactly. And then in our mind, right, what we're learning about our brain is that our brain, our nervous system is always focused on your survival, of keeping you safe. So if that's been our training, our biological training for a long time, we're always outward focused. What's happening here is the truth. What's happening here is real. But then when we try to take it in through our broken filters, we don't assess, is it true or is it not true? But we have inside of us, I'm bad, I'm not lovable, I'm unworthy, I'm just gonna do what they need me to do so they really won't see what's behind here. So it gets complicated. But once we understand how our brain works without all that information, we can start to, wait a minute, this is not true, this stuff that's floating around in my head. Yes, welcome to the tribe, friend. Dahir. And then once we see that it's a lie, then it's the tedious work of pulling it out one at a time. I can love. I am valuable. I am good. I am worthy. And then once we can identify that as a mental exercise, how do we embody that? How do we start to live out of that? You welcome to here. Welcome. Glad you feel welcome. Where are you from, my friend? So 2 questions, and then I'm going to go into the sharing from you guys. Some beautiful comments today. How has shame impacted, crippled your personal life, and how has shame crippled your professional life and career? So Sue shared with us her comment. All right, we have more people from England with us. There you go, Rob. Rob, tell her, right, Cindy, you stick around with this group, you're going to start to believe some of those Exactly. We are going to tell you the truth to combat those beliefs. You're going to feel the love. You're going to trust and believe that after a while. Just hang on tight. We'll wear you down with some love. And let's see here. Sue shared with us. And just so you know, Dahir, I'm sharing, and anybody else watching here on Periscope, we have a closed Facebook group where I post the page of the day, and then our group members share their comments and then give me permission to share here with you guys so we can all learn from it as a group. So, but please feel free to chime in. Right? As long as it's related, or if you have any questions about trauma, and I'll do my best to address those. Sue says, I grew up with a profound sense that I was a burden, that I was never good enough, that I was completely unworthy of being loved. So I would try my hardest to always fit in, to be perfect. Though inside I was terrified, believed that if people knew what I was really like, they would reject me as worthless. Who else? Who can relate to Sue? Me too, my friend Sue. I remember. She goes on to say, so as a teacher, I always worked hard, but I never felt I was good enough. I always feared any form of assessment, and I would work long hours trying to get it right and to keep up with colleagues who were much younger than I was. In the end, I suffered from burnout and had to take ill health retirement. And I was desperately ashamed of what I perceived was a total failure. I'm sorry, Sue. I'm sorry. Just want to say, I see, and I think if we stop, slow down and just take a look at people in our environment, we see a lot of high functioning trauma survivors that are driven, right, by perfection, by performance, by being doing, right? And going after, everything looking good out here. So no one questions what's really going on the inside. And a lot of people end up burning out. And I think also we live in a culture that rewards and pushes that kind of behavior. And it's not healthy. It's totally gone. It's out of control. So you are not a failure. Not a failure, Sue, but I'm sorry. Exactly. I hear you, Sue. That's right. Hence the level of suicide. Exactly. To what end are we pushing? Pushing. Keeps us down, keeps us safe, but in pain. I hear you, Donna. I hear you. And again, that's what the trauma brain does. The trauma brain just pushes you. There's discomfort. I have to do something. I have to move something. I have to go for something instead of slow back down. But again, when we don't have a reference point or know what that looks like or why we should be considering doing that, we won't, right? And that was what half my healing journey was about. I was very driven. Yes, I'm still very driven, but I'm driven now with a whole lot more balance and also a lot more intention behind what I'm doing. One more thing here from Sue. These days, I no longer feel that I need to hide. I am recognizing that I'm doing my best and that I am good enough. But I'm finding it harder to really believe that I am worthy of love. I hear you, friend. I hear you, Sue. Absolutely. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. And that is kind of the deep work that we kind of need to, it's one of those, we chip at it a little piece at a time. Chip at it, we chip at it, we chip at it, we chip at it, we chip at it, right? Because we've been hardwired to be and do and believe and embody even part of our identity for so long, that who am I without this part of me? And so it becomes a little bit of a challenge. So, but I've seen you work through some really deep stuff, Sue, and I know you are getting there on your time, on your terms, in a way that works for you. Exactly. You are working on it, and that's exactly it. You are actively doing something about it. You're taking responsibility, Sue, and I really want to celebrate you for that, because you are like, I want to know, I want to understand this. I understand it's my job to learn about love. I know I wasn't given the love by my parents that I should have. So this is going to be hard, but I am willing to do whatever it takes to figure this out, even though it's causing me some inner challenge with myself. That's it. You're doing it. Turning over every stone, every leaf, reflecting, feeling your feelings about it, right? It's so important, because it's so hard to tease it out, like how deep this goes, how far back it goes, and just how ingrained into our psyche and our, like, into our just the molecules of who we are. There it is. Shame. There it is. I'm not loved. There it is. I'm a victim. Sometimes like, are you kidding me? This is still here? Okay, we're excavating again. So don't lose hope, my friend Sue. You're doing a beautiful job. You're doing a beautiful job. Elizabeth says the pressure must have been horrible. Thank you for that comment. I met a Welsh guy at a pub, says Rob, who told me about his car crash and subsequently suicidal ideation within 5 minutes. So people are overcoming shame with confiding. Exactly. Brilliant. And you clearly, you are a safe person, Rob. You made it safe for him to share. Sue says, yes, it was tough. And unsurprisingly, I had a dysfunctional marriage as well. Yes. Hey, Dahir, thank you. I appreciate that. She says, Dahir, I don't even know if you're male or female. Now I'm embarrassed, but there it is. I've listened to a podcast interview you have done with Beverly Engel, and I learned a lot from you. That warmed my heart. I'm a male, all right. Not that it matters, but you know, and also I'm okay with pronouns. You let me know what pronoun you prefer. So sometimes you just want to throw that feeling away and never feel it again. Yes, I hear you. I totally get that. There you go. That's awesome, Rob. And what I want to say to that, Elizabeth, is that how I've found a way to make peace, hey friend, with some of these hard feelings that I'm like, ugh, don't like these feelings. But then I'm like, wait a minute, these feelings are a part of me. If this is a part of me, I want to get to know it. It can't be that bad if it is a part of me. So I don't know if that resonates, but anything that lives inside of me, I am curious about, because I am really starting to appreciate myself, my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul, the whole thing. So I am relentless on getting to know Svava, right? I'm taking full responsibility for this mess over here. So the hurt spills out as little as possible onto others, but more like, how am I hurting myself by resisting, avoiding, or rejecting feelings? Yes, they are hard, but I don't think they're bad. And the more we feel the hard, the more we are also getting in touch with what we would then label as good. They're a package deal, my friends. They are a package deal. So thank you, Sue. I really appreciate that. Thumbs up. You're doing amazing work, my friend. Wanda shares with us, looking at a shame from a different place currently. When asked this question a year ago, my answer was 100% related to how the physicality of the trauma made me feel. You're welcome, Sue. Today it's broader. I realize now that I've worn shame. Oof, I can relate. Who else? Worn shame. It was all composing. I felt I was not good enough. I wasn't as pretty as the other girls. I was embarrassed about the clothes I wore or couldn't wear, or even doubted my intellect, although others defined me as above average. My entire life up until this moment, I didn't equate it to the trauma. I just knew that was how I saw life, right? That's what Sue says, exactly that. And that's it. It's like, it's so tricky and so it seeps in there and plays a role that it clouds everything. And just like you say, Wanda, you're like, you can see it now, right? It's like something is opened up. The fog is lifting a little bit. You're starting to be able to separate, okay, this is shame, this is the abuse, this person hurt me. Okay, that's what happened here, and this is my stuff, right? This is my body, this is what I feel in here, this is what happened with these people, right? We need to kind of, instead of it was all just all bad. So being able to separate, to identify. She also says here, professionally, it isolated me. Hey, friends. In a lot of ways, because it was there that I questioned my competency. Hey, friend, welcome. Although I was genuinely in a management or supervisory role, it was almost like I was ashamed of succeeding. Yes, I hear you. I hear you, Wanda. So absolutely, right? When we are celebrated by something outside of ourselves, and if we don't believe it on the inside, we question it. And then at the same time, yes, thank you, friend. Thank you, friend. Just so you know, glad to have you here on Periscope. I'm also running the live stream on YouTube with a group of people, and that's where people are also chiming in. So hang in there with me if I'm not catching up with all the chats. The more we fear or resist a feeling, the more it gets it stronger. That's right, Nuff. That's it. That is it. Right? The more we resist and avoid, the more energy we're actually putting into it. So jealousy of some people made me ashamed of success. I hear you. Again, that's also where our ego, right? We talked about the ego in our mindfulness course. And some of you have gone through that with me, is to understand a little bit of ego is good, right? It's how we kind of relate to things and people and our lives. then too much of it. Hey, friend. Too much of it, the ego starts to identify with, you know, more of this, more of that. I'm more important. I'm better than others, right? So it can be a little tricky there. So, but I hear you. It's also like we can feel like we talk about survivor's guilt. I've had to go through some of that. I've had to process that. It's like, well, since my life is better, I'm feeling better, I shouldn't be sharing that. I shouldn't be sharing the happy moments. I shouldn't be sharing the success. I shouldn't be sharing the things that are going well. So that was a whole nother layer to process as well, until I'm like, screw that. Sorry for my language. I've earned it. I fought hard for it. I want people to celebrate. And I started finding peeps, my peers, that were happy to celebrate each other. And that took some doing. That was an interesting journey as well. Wanda says, I never wanted others to think I thought I was better than them or knew more than them. Exactly, Wanda. I get it. Totally get it, Wanda. And I know that I'm inherently, I don't do that. I love to celebrate. I want other people to succeed, right? We need more of that. But at the same time, right, I also knew I had to be okay with celebrating my own success, to own it, because I wasn't ashamed of it. I know. This is important. I figured this out. I'm so happy I did. I worked my ass for this. And so many other things, right, that we fight for in life and work hard for. It's like, yes. Celebrate. Dahir says, shame made me believe that I'm not worthy of good things in life. As a result, I've lost a lot of opportunities. I can't live with shame anymore. It must be healed. I hear you, friend. I hear you. And that's part of what we're doing here by bringing this topic up. I know it's not one of our favorites, but the more we can talk about it and talk through it and get some clarity about where shame is kind of seeping in there, making you think, right? Why are you doing this? Why bother? Stop trying. You know, no one cares. It's like, wait a minute. No, this isn't right. Exactly. Tune in to shine. Absolutely. And it's never too late, my friends. Never too late. Thank you, Wanda. I know that about you, Wanda. You are such an awesome cheerleader. Hey, Frank. Is it Franco? Hey, Sharon. Drive safely. I cannot pronounce. That sounds like a French name. Is it Francois? Frank? All right. Hey, Frank. I am hooked on celebrating achievements, always looking for the next level. It's tiring. And I hear you, Frank. I hear you, my friend. That's why it's important to kind of pay attention to what's the driver, who's in the driver's seat. So, hey, Michael, no politics, friends. I'm going to mute you. Thank you, guys. Bear with me. The problem with my ego, that it's always trying to overprotect me, even if there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Well, exactly. That's right. The part of us that expects the worst. So do our best to communicate with your body, because something in your body thinks that it needs to be protected. So, but great awareness, right? And to remind yourself there's something inside that needs to be protected. So make friends with that part of you. Get to know the part of you that interjects and thinks you need protecting. Let's see here. Wanda, thank you so much for your sharing, my friend. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Say here, Cindy. Cindy says, blame and shame is how I was raised. Yes. That's right, Wanda. Thank you. Thank you for summing that up for me. She says, blame and shame is how I was raised. I was a young adult when I understood that a lot of my self-esteem issues stemmed from my mom shaming me. Shame kept me from living up to my full potential. As life goes on and I grow to change, those shame messages get better at liking me and being confident life is better. But I remember when I was going through my personal nightmare, those words of shame, not good enough. How could you let that happen? I am bad. I must be a horrible parent. All those early beliefs about myself raised their ugly heads and took me down a very dark path. It took a minute to come out of it, but I did. I did because I am strong, brave, smart, and have emotional intelligence. I did not shame my children because of how awful it made me feel. It cuts into your soul. I hear you, Cindy. I hear you, friend. I will probably always struggle to counteract those thoughts, but that's okay because I now know how to change the mantra. Actually, just recently, my mom still tried to shame me. I love her to death, but I won't let her shame me anymore. Good for you, my friend. Good for you, Cindy. Absolutely. And I know, right, along with recognizing what shame feels like in our bodies, like being able to tap into it when we feel that rise up in us, is also to work with our body and nervous system, right, through tapping, through TRE, tension and trauma release, breath work, doing whatever we can to release the chronic tension that we hold inside our core, wrapped around the trauma. So the more we help our body to relax and open and release the chronic tension, also the thoughts and the beliefs behind it, they also dissipate. So it's all connected. So I'm excited for you, Cindy, that you are starting to, right, bringing more awareness, also starting to help your body and your nervous system to heal itself. You're doing a beautiful job, my friend. Beautiful job. And yes, you are a wise woman. Lots of emotional intelligence, right? All that processing and learning that you have done, and you're passing on that beautiful wisdom to your family and your children. So I see you, my friend. I see you. I celebrate you. Exactly. And it's also important to stand up to those that try to shame us. Absolutely. Just excuse me. I don't let anybody speak to me that way. Not going to let you. I don't even speak to myself that way anymore. So absolutely. Loving but firm. Loving but firm. So thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm so glad that you're here. Yes, yes. So let's see here. Denise shared with us. I'm so glad you're here, Denise. I've been thinking about you. You've been on my mind and my heart lately. Always good to see you. Denise says, shame is an ever-present monster in my life. It tells me I am unworthy, not competent, and I'm never enough. I just started back to college and I'm fighting myself with what I know others at my work think about my inability to succeed, and it's extremely difficult. Right? I hear you, friend. I hear you, right? Is that what we know that others are thinking, our assumptions, our projections, our, right? Expecting the worst, expecting rejection from other people. So hear you, my friend. There you go. Thank you, Frank. Stand your ground and use love to diffuse the situation. Thank you. Great advice. Denise goes on to say, on a personal level, I have all but given up on a romantic relationship possibility. I currently can't stop the cycle of thinking that I'm not worth more than abuse. I'm so sorry, Denise. I am sorry, my friend. Yes, thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Rob. We are with you. We see you. We hear you. And just lacking words right now because, yes, I understand you feeling that way, thinking that that is all what you're good for, right? Is abusive relationships, that's all that's going to repeat and happen. But you are so much more than that, so much more. And you are inherently good, valuable, lovable, generous, kind, supportive, loyal, inspiring, empowering human. I can go on and on, and know a few of our peers here can chime in. Thank you, Dahir. Yes. All right. All right, just trying to block a few people. I guess the trolls have found us over here. So bear with me. Yes, thank you, Cindy. You're welcome. Glad that you're here. Thank you, Sue. We have all felt that way, Denise. Yes, right? Not that we want to minimize in any way, minimize what you're experiencing. But I think we want to share with you, you're not alone, right? That's trauma talking. That's shame talking. That's those toxic beliefs that take kind of hold of us. And the healing journey is very much about, bringing that out into the light. Oh, here's another way that I don't feel good enough. Here's another way that I'm expecting the worst. Here's another way that I think I'm just a victim. Here's another way that I don't think people are going to want to be my friend or interested in what I have to say, or, right? And it all helps when we engage in a conversation like this, even though it can be hard and it can feel very triggering. The reason why it maybe brings up a little bit of anxiety as we sit here together is that you also, in your heart of hearts, deep inside, you know the truth. You know the truth. But it's so scary to finally open up to the possibility that, right, like they say, it isn't our darkness that we fear. It's actually our light that we fear even more. And part of darkness or trauma and negative thinking, toxic thought patterns are, like I was reading somewhere, it's like it's in our systems, they stick, they're very sticky. And they kind of feed off each other. So when we're trying to turn things around, right, it's like turning around an oil tanker, right? It feels like we're turning around a whole planet. It's so hard to turn things around that it feels impossible. But some of the posts that you've seen from me lately, just start with one thing today that you're grateful for. one good quality that you see about yourself that, okay, I may not exactly believe or think that I am good, that I am loved, or that I am valuable, but I'm willing just to take this one piece and just write it out here as a possibility for myself as I'm working on, just seeing the truth. That's funny. So thank you, Wanda. She says, I can so relate to that feeling, Denise, but you're continued working. I can promise you, you will learn to value yourself. I have in this year of working with Svava, it's a continuous learning process. Yes. Yes, Wanda, my friend. And those of you who hang out with me, right, I'm relentless. I believe in you. I do not give up on you. And yes, in the beginning, I did not believe it either, but I found a few people where I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it because I trust you. And so you're telling me if I just keep doing this, that I will feel different? Okay. I will keep going. I will keep going. I will keep going. So Elizabeth says, what if someone mistreated you and later is nice, but you still resentful? I feel I can't trust that person. Well, if your resentment is, did you ask for what you need? Did you talk it through? That's right, Sue. Thank you. You don't have to trust someone who is proven untrustworthy, right? I'm eternal optimist and hopeful and trusting. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but if they hurt me and they didn't apologize, right? You do something once, you made a mistake, but you apologize, you make amends, and you make a sincere apology. But if you keep repeating it, then I'm like, okay, this is clearly going to continue to happen. I'm not going to trust you, but I trust myself now enough to speak up and to set a boundary when I feel like someone isn't respecting my boundary or being hurtful after I've asked them to stop doing what they were doing. Dahir says, Svava, as a therapist, what's the most effective way to heal shame and childhood trauma in general? So guys, you want to jump in and answer that? And Dahir, just so you know, my friend, I am not a therapist. I'm a life coach. But healing shame is a process. So is healing childhood trauma. We have to work with our body, understanding how the body holds on to trauma. And just like we've talked about, to understand the thinking process that when we have childhood trauma, we have thoughts and feelings that we carry with us from childhood and that are showing up in our lives today as if they're truths. So we need to kind of assess the truths that we're living out of in our life today. And I have found inner child work very powerful, very helpful to help us safely express our feelings, getting in touch with our feelings, emotions that maybe we haven't expressed or processed before, while we're also learning to become the parent and the protector that we needed. So it is multidimensional process, but working with your body, understanding your thoughts, and understanding the feelings, and basically keep coming back to how I can't change the past, but I can change me now moving forward, and that is done from the present moment. So I'm a big fan of mindfulness and meditation and coming into this moment. Like if I'm feeling shame now, I come to my body and recognize, what is it that's happening right now that is making me feel this way? And then I work my way backwards from there. what triggered me, what made me feel that. And I stay present to it as much as I can instead of repressing or avoiding or projecting or blaming. Okay, this feeling is here to teach me something. What am I here to learn about that? So that's the short version. But if you'd love to hang out, we have a group, we have a community. We'd love to have you be a part of it where it's an ongoing dialogue. So, and also if you subscribe to my blog to hear, I put out regular blogs about healing. Let's see, depends on, there you go. No apologize, simply changed strategy, I guess, because it was not working. So Elizabeth, did you hear me on, was that a good answer for you? Right? We can ask for an apology. We can tell people how it makes, if someone hurt your feeling or was disrespectful, you can take responsibility for how it made you feel by speaking up and then asking for what you need and set a boundary. And then you ask for what you need, they can also say no. But if they say no, then that also gives you, okay, that gives me something to work on. Do I want to be in a relationship or partnership or friendship with this person if they're not willing to honor or respect and be kind to me, right? So that gives you something to work with. You're welcome to hear. You guys are on fire tonight. I love it. Cindy says, Svava, that's a new thought for me, feeling the light more than the darkness. We'll be pondering that today. Yes, that's actually a quote by Miriam Williamson. She says, it's not the darkness we fear, but it is the light. And that makes sense. And I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that right now, but I can definitely talk more about that. Let's see here, Wanda. Cindy says, no, Wanda says, Cindy, I feared the light because I believed I was those dark things. As I'm seeing, it was a lie and I'm not bad. I can see the light, accept the light a little better. Good. Rob mistreated me in front of others since the bullying was not working. She is nicer, but I feel she doesn't like me or have my best interest at mind. Well, good awareness, Elizabeth. Good for you to have that awareness. Just have some clear boundaries and don't take that personally. Do not take it personally if she doesn't like you. Not everybody's going to like us. Keep being you. You do you and see who shows up. See who wants to hang out. I know, Nuff, you're right, but we have thumbs. So if you, Nuff, are enjoying this conversation, please give me a thumbs up here on YouTube. And of course, the hearts on Periscope are always welcome. I appreciate that. And also, if you guys feel free to share my live stream or videos after we are done here. That's always appreciated. And any comments, please below. I really appreciate any comments that you guys might have about what we have, what has inspired you. Yes, I miss the hearts. I miss them too. I miss the hearts. You guys know me, right? Can you see I'm wearing one of my hearts today? So, and I got another heart for birthday. So Elisa and my daughters and Sabrina, they got me a beautiful heart for my birthday. So the card of the day after talking about shame, right? It's a tough topic, but something that we need to revisit over and over and over again. Also, great resource when it comes to reading about shame is Brené Brown. All her books are so brilliant. So who needed a little bit of joy today? And just a couple of reminders is that shame actually, for many of us, shame actually is that intense, painful feeling that we are unworthy of love and belonging. Right? Shame is the intense feeling painful feeling that we are unworthy of love and belonging. Because, my friends, that it is a lie that you're not worthy of love and belonging. I call bullshit. Because you are inherently loved, you're inherently good, you're inherently lovable, valuable, generous, beautiful human beings. You're here because we needed you. Remember, God, spirit, universe, whatever you believe in, thought that you were a good idea, that this world needed something really, really special like you. And yes, our world is better for it that you are here today with us. And I am so grateful. Thank you, guys. Thank you, friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Denise, for sharing with us. And anybody else who's just joining us, remember, you can get my books on either from my website, svavabrooks.com, or from Amazon or Kindle. And we do have a closed Facebook group where I post the page of the day. And then our group members share their journal entries. And as we process a little bit every day, our intention, right, our energy follows our intention. So when you start your day with the intention of healing and learning to love yourself, learning to accept responsibility for how you feel, slowly but surely, things start to shift. And it's better to do in community. So I will be back here Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks again for being here today, friends. Really appreciate all of you. And remember, you already have everything that you need to heal and restore. So thank you. Together we grow. Absolutely. Thank you all. Thanks for being here, friends. And thank you for being here for each other. Absolutely. You have no idea whom you are empowering and supporting when you share courageously from your heart. That's really what we're all longing to see. Thank you, Dahir. Thank you for being here. Remember to subscribe so you'll get notifications when we go back live. And I hope to see you again some other time. Come by anytime if you have any questions about healing after trauma. So nice to meet you all. Thank you, friends. Have a beautiful night. I'll see you all soon. Bye, friends. Thanks, Dahir. Bye, everybody.